I've been playing in a rockabilly band for about the last, as long as I can remember, probably 25 years. And it's a certain passion of mine. Just listening to the music drives me insane. And so when I sort of started playing as a kid, or the reason I started playing drums as a kid was because I was listening to my mum and dad's records. And kids' records, they're the black things, circles. I'm sure you don't remember them. My dad had sort of swing albums from like players like Jack Parnell and Ronnie Varell, who happens to be Muppets drummer, I think you'll find. And also, my mum was listening to pop music at the time, which was actually Elvis. And I remember the album that she had. It was the 40 Greatest Hits of Elvis, which is, you know, so I got both sides. I got the kind of swing side of it, and I got the rockabilly, the rock and roll side from Elvis. So what I'm going to do is play some Elvis. Why not? Hey, you know. So can I put this microphone around, guys? There we go.
He's not here, by the way.
Has he left the building?
No, he kindly recorded this track for me before he died.
Works at the local chip shop, aren't you?
What was that? Works in the local chip shop, You good? Yeah.
Thank you very much. It wasn't all Elvis. The beginning track was CC Rider, Viva Las Vegas. For those who don't know, Elvis used to open his 1970s show with that. Sorry, I thought the mic was feeding back. Elvis used to open his 70s show with a track called CC Rider and Into Viva Las Vegas. And I don't mean to insult you, but the ones that remember that, he used to go into the Space Odyssey 2001 thing, and that's how he used to open his shows. Now, the link being to the rockabilly world is obviously Elvis Presley. You then heard me play a blues rockabilly track, which was my band that I was with last night, great bunch of guys called Wild. And the other track was a rockabilly track again that had like a 2-beat fill, and what is known as a train beat. And that was performed by a guy called Pete Turland, and who just happens, even though he lives in Canada, has his latest album for sale at the beginning of, as you walk in. It is actually on sale. It's amazing how he had that album on sale today. It only cost £5. Right, so as far as the drumming link goes, rockabilly usually has a 2-beat feel. Okay, so if it's got a 2-beat feel, it's got the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. But in July 1954, 5th of July actually, Elvis walked into Sun Studios and recorded a track called That's Alright Mama. This was done by a guy called Scotty Moore, who was the guitarist, and Bill Black, who was the bass player, but they didn't have a drummer. So how on earth could it be rockabilly if they didn't have a drummer? Okay, so that happened and they sold loads of records, etc, etc. And so everybody then wanted to get on the bandwagon, and another guy walked in there into Sun Studios in the October of the same year and recorded a track called Blue Suede Shoes. I was thinking of another track as well then. Now, anybody know who recorded Blue Suede Shoes in Sun Studios? I'm on my own. It was rubbish, yeah. It was Carl Perkins. But Carl Perkins changed what rockabilly is today because he had a drummer. And the drummer that he had is W.S. Fluke Holland. He was with Carl Perkins for many years, and he created the 2-beat feel. Not necessarily with that track, but he later became Johnny Cash's drummer. Hence the reason we get the 2-beat feel of the rockabilly. Now, what is rockabilly? You know, I mean, this debate has gone on for ages. Whether it was created by some because of the sound, or was it because of Fluke that done the 2-beat feel, nobody knows. There's many people that are discussing it. But I think it's because of the rare sound. So what I'm going to try and do is play a couple of... Who are drummers, actually? I'm not looking over there, I know you're drummers. So we're not going to full house of drummers. Okay, so if I play what I've got, it's got a backing track to explain different ways of playing the 2-beat feel. Now I play. In fact, I'll show you. Why not? Yeah, do you mind? Can I have a round of applause for my person who's holding the mic? This is Rockabilly Phil. Now, yeah, it seems quite, I had to give him a bet, it was a bet. It seems a bit simple, but that was the total feel. Now that feel came from what Bill Black was doing with his double bass. You know the one, kids, the ones that's in the music cupboard that never comes out. Alright, so what he did was pull the strings and slap the fretboard to create that sound. So what WS did was mimic that on the drums. And the track I'm going to play, you'll hear the double bass. So try and listen to the sound of it, and you'll hear what the clicking sound within the track is, or hopefully you can. And I will play the rockabilly track over the top, and then you can see how the two merge together. I've got a stand.
Been promoted.
Can you hear what I mean now? So it became almost percussive. Well, it was percussive. So that's why the early rockabilly bands didn't have drummers. Because the early swing guys, Western swing, has anybody heard of Western swing music? It was the early kind of hillbilly thing that was coming from the West Coast. And it influenced what Elvis and Bill Black and Scotty Moore did. Okay, so record companies, I talked about Sun. Was, you know, the major label that everybody knows about rock and roll. It always comes from Sun. But you see, all the record companies across the States wanted a bit of the action. Okay, so how were they going to get their own Elvis? You know, there was only one. Well, apart from that guy at the chip shop. And there's another guy. Yeah, they're all tributes now, aren't they? So there was only one Elvis Presley. So they always wanted. They knew how successful he was, so they wanted their own Elvis. Liberty Records found one guy that was similar to Elvis. He looked good. He was young. Wasn't me. Eddie Cochran. Anybody know who Eddie Cochran is? Please somebody say yes. There's a hand at the back. So, Eddie Cochran got his break by being offered to record a track called 20 Flight Rock. And it was done for a movie called The Girl Can't Help It. And that was actually a song. Anybody know who The Girl Can't Help It was? Little Richard recorded Girl Can't Help It. Okay, so that was written for a movie called, well, The Girl Can't Help It was the movie, but originally it was called, where am I going with this? It was called Do Re Mi. So Eddie Cochran was asked to record 20 Flight Rock for the film. With your pleasure, or with your permission, with my pleasure, I'm going to play you 20 Flight Rock, which is also available at the album that Pete left by the door. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. No, so that was Eddie Cochran, 20 Flight Rock. So he was Liberty Records' answer to Elvis Presley. I got 5 minutes. I've had the big 5. Okay. So, like I said, he was tragically killed actually in Somerset. I don't know whether anybody realised. What used to happen in the 50s was bands would get together, and when they started coming over here, it would only be the artists that came over here, and they would have made-up bands that tour with them. And unfortunately, they died in an accident, and Eddie Cochran, you know, that was the end of it. But there's loads of stories of what happened and what he left behind, and that. But my point, okay, because this has a point. So we've got a few drummers at the back, they're not going to hear me. What I want you to do today, or when you get home, is try and check out some of the early recordings. Now I'm not asking you that you must get into it or whatever, but they're recorded in a certain way where you can hear how they develop what music we listen to today. When was the last time you lied on the sofa and you read the back of an album cover? Alright, you haven't, have you? Alright, I used to listen to the Bill Haley album, and I would listen to the tracks over and over again and read the back of the cover 1,000,001 times every time I listen, and that doesn't happen now because we're all downloading MP3s. I love modern technology. I'll be the first one on Twitter when I go down there. But those albums are really, really important. John Lennon said there wouldn't have been a Beatles if it wasn't for Carl Perkins. Alright, so music didn't begin at the Beatles. I love the Beatles, by the way. Right, okay, so my last track, Eddie Cochran. Like I said, unfortunately passed away in an accident. There was a certain guy with him called Gene Vincent. Okay? Thankfully, Gene Vincent survived. It's also rumoured that he saved Eddie Cochran's girlfriend. But I'm going to play you a Gene Vincent track. It had the most amazing rockabilly guitarist on it called Cliff Gallup. Check him out. He's unbelievable. And I'm going to leave you with a track called Cruisin'. It's the title cut on the album that's on sale at the end. Sorry. I'm not on tour, am I? I forgot that. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the time with me. Enjoy the rest of the day. Go and play some drums. Paul's put on a brilliant event. We've got some great drummers coming up, and they're really nice guys as well, and they're going to blow you away with their talent. So thanks for inviting me, Paul. This is Cruisin'. I'll see you around. Come and chat if you want. Let's get a round of applause for it.